Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and for anyone new, my name is Lakna. Thank you for tuning in today. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the upcoming full moon, which in Vedic astrology is happening in Libra, in the nakshatra called Swati. So this full moon is happening on May 1st or 2nd, depending on where you live. And I have some really intuitive insights that have come up during a meditation. So I have some notes that I've written down. Just in case you don't watch my May monthly forecast video, I'm just going to mention it again on this video. But the major theme I see for this entire month, and it's really connected with this moon cycle for this month, is to do with our heart space and heart, Venus related heart opening, heart clearing, and really this symbology or theme of needing to literally cut our heart open, which may require releasing, clearing illusions, fears, anything that is blocking our heart from truth and alignment and surrender and openness and receptivity. And yeah, just really cutting our hearts open so we can make more space to allow in and receive what is in true alignment with our truest heart's desires and our most authentic self, and like really making space for self-love, authentically aligned connections, relationships, healed relationship with our money, our finances, material desires, beauty, love, art, creativity, balance, peace, flow, harmony. Yeah, these are all of the themes related to Venus, and it is really coming up with this moon cycle because this full moon is happening in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, and the following new moon, which will happen on May 16th, will be in Taurus, which is also ruled by Venus. And the two nakshatras of this full moon being in Swati, Swati literally means sword, a sharp object, which has the ability to cut open our heart, cut through illusions. I've got written down this sword can cut through illusions, confusions, indecisions, indecisiveness. It can help sever old attachments, energies, anything that is not serving us, to help purify, transform, transmute, protect and defend us as well. There's also this like sharpness and clarity that comes through that sword. And then the next new moon, which is happening in Taurus, is also happening in a nakshatra which is related to these sharp objects. This nakshatra called Kritika. Kritika is literally, the symbols are all of these sharp objects. There's a blade, the axe, there's a knife, there's also the flame connected to Agni, the god of fire. So like all of these things have the ability to burn, to cut, to pierce, to just like really release any just basically anything that isn't serving you, to really help purify us and renew us on so many levels. So I'm going to make a video about the new moon as well, a separate one, which I recommend you watch as well before the new moon, if you can, just to get an idea of this overall heart opening energy that's taking place, because it's like really big. It's really happening now following this new moon, which we're finally moving forward with. This new solar year has finally begun with the new moon in Aries, which we had on April, I think it was April 18th. We're finally moving forward, and new beginnings, new opportunities, new energy wants to really come through for us now, but we have to be open and make space for that. And we're being really cold and pushed and sort of pressurized to open our hearts more this month in May, so that these new aligned opportunities can, like, we can actually have the space for them and receive them. And like self-love is really important with that, and making that space internally and then feeling safe enough to open up to that after that. So the full moon is when the moon is at its peak of, like, the light is shining the brightest, which is illuminating the shadows which we haven't been facing in this moon cycle up until now. And these shadows are to do with all the shadows of Aries. Aries is on the other end of the polarity of Libra. So Libra brings up to us what we really need to balance. Like, Libra is all about balance, actually, with the scales. But really what we need to balance from that Aries energy, and to bring more harmony into our relationships with other people. Libra has a lot to do with relating with others. Because it is ruled by Venus, it's a lot to do with love and relationships and connections and partnerships, and really creating that balance and harmony. So when we think about the previous new moon, which was in Aries, Aries has been wanting us to make this new chapter all about our most aligned, authentic self, our identity, like really being sure and strong in who we are and carving our path in its most authentic way, and just like trailblazing ahead and being courageous with that and doing what we need to for ourselves. And now this Libra energy, what is coming through is like making sure that we are also being adaptable in relationships when we need to, and really bringing a sense of more diplomacy and peace and harmony and balance, where Aries can sometimes be a bit more abrasive and abrupt and like spontaneous, where Libra wants us to balance out the pros and cons of things before like just moving full speed ahead, whereas Aries is a bit more instinctual. Libra can be a bit more indecisive because it's just like weighing out all the pros and cons of everything, and there needs to be a balance. You don't want to be too much of one end of the spectrum or the other. And so I've got written down actually, so yeah, what we got from the Aries energy and what we've been really being called to embody more of, and there is a lot of Aries energy still now, even with this full moon. The full moon is always going to be opposing the sun, but yeah, the sun is in Aries, and as well as Mercury is in Aries. So this Aries energy is strong within the field of collective consciousness, which is that real courageous directness, boldness energy to help us act and really be assertive and really take charge. And then the Libra energy, like I said, diplomacy, balance, fairness, harmonizing, really focusing on how we relate with others, and weighing those pros and cons. The moon is opposing the sun and Mercury. So like opposing the sun really brings up our sun, our light, our consciousness, the way that we show up, our core, our identity, our physical self. And this is really important because this is a solar year that we're in. So the way that we show up with our sun, our identity, is so it's being highlighted this entire year. And we are being called to really ensure that our path is authentic to our truth, our highest self and our highest truth. And in this sign of Libra, Swati Nakshatra, it really does bring up these shadows of where relationships can sort of deter us from our path. It is bound to happen, and it tends to happen where our external world, people especially in romantic relationships, but also parental figures, like could even like friendships, actually, all relationships have the potential to influence us negatively or positively, to shift our path and to really play a big role in how our life unfolds. And it's really easy to get influenced by our friends. It's really easy to sort of follow someone else's path unconsciously if you are not sure of yourself and aligned with your truth and having that clear discernment of what you need to do for yourself. Like a real like common example is like strict parents really telling you have to go down a certain path, career pathway, and you do this thing even though you really don't want to, but you feel like that's your duty to do that because you've been told to do it. And then you realize like that's not got anything to do with what you want to do. Like that's just an example. But it does really come up with this sign of Swati because this is where the sun is the most debilitated. So it's where our ability to really be like really strong in our sense of self is more easily adaptable and more easily influenced by relating with others. The power in that though is if this is where there is the strongest ability to lose your sense of self, you also then have the ability to become so sure of yourself, because you have to lose yourself sometimes to truly deeply integrate and find yourself again and to really embody who you truly are. So yeah, that's something positive about this energy. But it's really bringing up like we have all lost some part of ourselves at some point in time. So the full moon's going to be illuminating that. And maybe we've totally changed and carved our path differently. We've become authentic and we've healed that thing. But this full moon could just literally just be highlighting something that we have gone through in that way, just to make sure that we have healed that emotionally. Like memories could come up, themes to do with our individuality versus relating with others is what is going to come up in this time with this full moon. And I've also got written down like really aligning with your people, your soul tribe, your like the people that are authentically aligned with you. Like it's something to think about in this time. And if you feel like you're not, like you do have the ability to do that, but that requires having, like, if you're not aligned with people who resonate with you or respect you, like this is the time to really think about how you're going to have like stronger boundaries with just with who doesn't serve you energetically. You like that is all in your power to do that. The other thing is sacred separation. Sacred separation is really necessary in any relationship dynamic, whether it's like with your family, with your parents, your siblings, your husband, your wife, friends, housemates, any relationship dynamic. Sacred separation, which is you having time of being with yourself, introspection, reflection, maybe being with nature, just to help you really connect deeper within and away from any potential external influences, to really check in with yourself, to meditate, to journal, to really listen to your inner voice. And yeah, I've got written down taking space from connections to ensure you're not being negatively influenced by anything outside of yourself. Anything that may be causing you to conform in an inauthentic way and adapt adjust, dim your light, or really just alter your path in a way that is not serving you. So this energy is really illuminating to us any parts of our life that is not of true or like authenticity and integrity with our higher self. And Swati is like, Libra is ruled by Venus, so there's so much heart-centered energy coming through, but Swati is actually ruled by Rahu, or the North Node. So Rahu is really connected to our purpose, our mission, and what our true path is supposed to be. Rahu energy is very airy as well. There's a lot of air energy because Swati is also the deity is Vayu, the wind god. So there is like all this energy of air and wind. It's really fast, adaptable, changeable, quick. Like there's a lot of growth, expansion, which is super powerful. A lot of change can happen. And like a question to really ask yourself is, what is no longer yours to hold onto? What needs to go? Because this Vayu wind is going to like really loosen the grip of those attachments that aren't supposed to stay. Old patterns connected to relationships, anything to do with like having anything to do with your identity that is not of truth. And this Rahu energy, the North Node, is very powerful because it's just so expansive, and it's very fated energy, which is like sudden insights and awakenings to do with relationship dynamics can come up. Unconventional solutions can come up with Rahu because Rahu is very innovative, and so is Libra. Rahu is going to bring up the desires and the obsessions and the compulsions that we have towards things. Anything karmic, anything, to do with relationships in that way is going to come up for us. Like a full combination of like what is truly serving you. And the goddess associated with Swati is Saraswati, the goddess of learning, knowledge, music, art, and wisdom. Saraswati is so beautiful. She is the one who possesses the flow. So that's a really powerful affirmation, to possess your flow state, which is really being in that state of balance, of alignment, mind, body, and spirit. And just doing activities to do with like your breath work and yoga and going for a walk, being outside and connecting with like real oxygen from the air outside. If you can go into a forest and like really connect with more pure air, that will be really powerful as well with the full moon. Connecting with the people that you love as well, and really honoring the people that you love in your life, but also balancing that out with making some solid solitude for yourself, making space for yourself as well as others, and it needs to be in balance. And especially with the full moon, this full moon, you may feel called to do something with your friends or your partner or like your loved ones. Whatever you feel called to do, I recommend you balance that out as well with some time of solitude, to journal, to really meditate and reflect, as well as do some breath work. And that's basically all I wanted to share for this full moon. I am going to make the new moon video very soon as well, which I highly recommend you watch. And yeah, it's a lot of heart clearing, heart opening energy. That's another thing actually for this full moon. If you want to do any heart chakra exercises, like there's heart chakra meditations, there's binaural beats you can listen to, there's like specific yoga that you can do for your heart. It's a good time to do that now. And also your throat, like your throat chakra, like really listening to your inner voice right now is gonna be very important, because actually that's something I forgot to mention, is that Mercury is also opposing this full moon. So there's a lot to do with Mercury, the way that we communicate to others, as well as like it starts with ourselves, the internal dialogue and our intellect. There is all of that is coming up. Mercury is in Aries opposing the full moon in Libra. So there is like new change and transmutation wants to take place when it comes to our thoughts and beliefs about ourselves. And it's to do with our identity, so our beliefs about ourselves, like our self-concept really, and our beliefs about who we are that aren't aligned with truth and love. That is truly what is wanting to be shifted. And this powerful air energy is gonna like a tornado, just like really pull us into a new timeline by shifting what isn't serving us. So it's really, really powerful. I wish you all the healing, clearing, love, alignment, and all of the good things that want to come through with this really, really powerful full moon. I also really feel a lot of goddess energy this month. I mean, it is a very Venusian month, so yeah, it's just a really powerful time to tap into that feminine power and wisdom. I knew I was going to finish, but there is actually one other thing I wanted to mention, which came up in my meditation actually, was this whole theme of our paths and the trajectory of our paths being influenced by other people. A big part of this is the need to balance our masculine and feminine and the dynamics of masculine and feminine roles. And I watched a podcast recently with Alana Fairchild. It's a really good one. If anyone wants, I can send it to you. But Alana Fairchild she's a powerful tarot oracle. She's created a lot of oracle decks. She's a powerful channel. And she mentions in this podcast that the feminine wisdom, the feminine energy is the container for the masculine, which I have actually heard so many people say that the masculine is the one who holds the container for the feminine. But she said that it's actually the feminine that holds the container for the masculine, because the feminine is like the womb space, which is literally, the womb is what holds and creates life and gives birth to life. Like, we are responsible for that. So in a way, you can see that the feminine also is able to move through the darkness and unknown paths and trust in that flow, whereas the masculine needs structure and rules to know what steps to take next. So if you think about it in that way, the feminine is actually potentially the one who, like, the energy that is supposed to take charge and lead life. And I like to see it when it comes to like romantic relationships, especially, that there should be a balance with like man and woman, and also like whatever like gender relationship or dynamic that you're in. There should be a balance between both people, because we should all have an equal balance of masculine and feminine energies within us, and we should be equally in power and in that sense of control and authenticity and also autonomy of our path, and there should be a coherence of two people's paths moving together. But I feel that what has happened in society is, with patriarchy taking over, there's been a huge disconnect with the power of the feminine wisdom and way being really suppressed. So that's just a whole topic that I could go on for, but it's just something to think about, is like, are we giving our power away, and are we taking a step back when we are all supposed to take charge and take lead, no matter what like stage of life you're in, or like if you're married. Like I know a lot of like relationships are like one person is way more in control and in power and taking lead. I personally believe that it should be equal, because we're all, no matter if we're in relationship or not, we're all like, we have like unique missions to fulfill in our life and unique paths that we're supposed to take with our partner and without. But that's just my opinion. I'm speaking as someone who has been married and divorced, and now like really just observing other people in relationship dynamics. So I'm not currently in a relationship, and I haven't been for a very long time. So this is just like me coming through observation, so not through like I'm sure I'd love to hear other people's opinions and perspectives on this. I'm sure there's like other points of view that I'm also lacking, because I haven't been in a long-term relationship for a very long time. But yeah, I'm curious to hear, and I'm curious to hear what comes up for you all this month as well. I'd love to hear your stories. It's such a beautiful, heart-centered month, and it's also really, it's beautiful and soft and loving and opening, but it's also really like intense and transmutive, and like transmuting, purifying, cleansing, purging, like all of that like powerful sword like ability to cut through whatever isn't serving us, like that is also present with this energy this month. So yeah, I'd love to hear what's coming up for you all. I feel like we're all just moving into more and more growth, and it's really, really beautiful and powerful. I send you all so much love, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.